see you guys again. Me and Greg are going to be doing another episode, and it'll probably be just this format because it's easier, it's convenient. Until we're near each other again, it'll probably just be in a podcast format instead of a broadcast. There's two different type of podcasts: one for the radio and one for video. Ours is going to be just for radio. And as always, my co-host Greg.
Hey everybody, it's me, Greg.
Why don't you tell them what you've done the last 2 days?
Okay, let's see. Over the weekend, I spent the weekend cleaning. Seems to be my routine. Because over the weekend we didn't have the best of weather. We had rain, snow, so it was a good day to stay in. Yesterday I did some paying bills and that stuff because I had bills to be sent out this week. And just doing some errands, running around, shopping, grocery shopping, stuff like that.
Sounds routine, not so bad. It's not rainy today. It's a little cloudy, but there's a little blue out, so it looks like it could go either way weather-wise. So maybe you'll be able to hear me more clearly. You would probably be able to hear the truck in the background. I'm going to keep the phone in one place, so if I'm not talking, it's because, I'm outside actually delivering packages, because usually I keep it in my jacket, but I want to see how well the video will turn out if I just keep it in one place, and, that's the radio, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, I want to test it out because, as you know, I usually put it in my jacket pocket and zip it up, but I wonder if that, makes it louder or quieter, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that could be too.
Well, what I did over the weekend was, because the last time me and Greg talked was Saturday.
Yep.
And we get Sundays off. So Sunday, I was supposed to hang out with my former friend Brandon, and he didn't show up, blew me off, and went with some random people to a bar to get fucked up, I guess. So I hooked up with an old friend, Austin, no homo, and we just went to the bar, had a few drinks, watched John Wick. It actually wasn't too bad. I don't want to do any spoilers. I thought it was pretty good for a Keanu Reeves movie. He's a better human than he is an actor. I was never really impressed with his acting, but he's a super nice guy, so he gets a pass. We went to some kind of cove in Camillus. It's like an abandoned mine where there's a lot of graffiti, and you can explore it, and it's totally safe. There's also a lot of bike paths. And if my voice sounds clogged up or it sounds like I'm struggling to talk, it's because I am. I quit smoking a month and 1 day ago, and I have the smoker's flu or the smoker's cold. It's called that because when you quit, your body goes through a myriad of changes, including your throat building back up resistance and getting rid of the tar and shit in your lungs. So we'll see how good it'll be and how long it lasts. Yesterday sucked. I had 130 stops, and that flu was kicking my ass. I felt so tired yesterday. I didn't want to do anything. But the day was totally worth Sunday. Sunday was amazing. Best I've had it ever since last November. Greg will know why that's special, but I'll leave that for him to talk about if you really want.
Yeah.
Because that's when you came. That was probably the funnest time I've had since then, Greg. Not even gonna lie.
Yeah, I had a great time too.
I know you did. long I'll last at this job. I've been here for 5 years, but I've heard some rustling from other drivers under other contractors that are leaving. Their reasons are pretty much my own. Pay is either getting cut or remains the same. They're adding on more work, for the same pay. They cut benefits. There's no bonuses. They cut those too, and they're just telling you to suck it up. And I just think that's fucked up, and it just makes me not want to work there.
Yeah.
If that's the way they want to do things, I want nothing to do with it personally. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, to me, it would just make me want to have nothing to do with it. And you said that's how you felt under your security job, and you were there for what? Like, you said a lot of years, 18 years?
I was there for a total of 10, 5 back in the 90s, and I went back for another 5 as a full-timer.
It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. A part of me doesn't regret it because FedEx, for the longest time, allowed me to escape poverty. It allowed me to get the things I wanted and to live a better life. So, on one hand, I'm thankful for what it has allowed me to do the last 4.5 years, technically 5, but to be more precise, it hasn't directly hit 5, but just the years if you want to count, like 2018 and 2023. It's just not worth it anymore, however. There's no place for me to go up unless I want to be a manager, and I don't want to do that.
Right.
I literally, there's no more bonuses I'm going to get. There's no more pay raises they're going to give, because it took me a couple of years just to get the one I have now. And I'm just not making enough to live a better life or to escape. So it's either, I pay off the debt I have now and just go, or just make some changes in life that I don't really want to make,
Right.
But everybody has to make changes in life. That just is what it is. And to be honest, I could have made a few of these changes a few years ago, but I didn't know what I wanted a few years ago. I didn't know you a few years ago. I was walking down just a nothingness path a few years ago, just working and having nothing and looking forward to nothing in life. I know so many people like that. It's alarming. Where they never leave and they just work a job for years because their life is over, or they're married and they're so miserable, or even if they're happy, they still wish for more. Like, I don't want that to happen to me. You might be a little too old for most of that, like wife and kids, but it's still going to allow you to do better in the long run. So, yeah, you may have missed some things that maybe you could have been good at, but it's whatever now. You might as well look forward to what you can still do, what we can still accomplish, and what is still left out there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Greg, I'm turning 27 this year. And I don't want the rest of my life to be like this. I'd rather kill myself before I get too old, if it's going to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I want to escape what I can now, before it gets too late, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that's a wonderful idea.
And I want us to do it quite literally just before the end of the year. December 1st. I know we talked about it a little bit before, last episode, but, I also want to give advice to any of our listeners out there. If you actually listen to us, I'm extremely thankful. Thank you. And I know Greg will say thank you too, and he would mean it, for actually even giving us one single view. we don't get paid for making any of these, for doing any of these. We just do it because we want to make others happy. We actually like doing it. I know a lot of YouTubers make it for money. Oh, we don't. We never did. And even though if only a few of you watch, I'm still thankful. So thank you. If you're hearing this right now, thank you. And I hope we inspire you to make a video, you know? It doesn't have to be anything special. I know people get stressed and think it has to be, but it doesn't have to be special. I don't think it has to be special. And you know what? Greg doesn't either. What do you think, Greg?
No, it doesn't. I will tell you, you're the one that inspired me to make these videos. I never even done videos before in my life until I actually saw you and met you. And I remember doing the first video and I thought, oh, wow, you know, this is pretty cool. So, and I don't have all the equipment in the world. I just basically use a computer or a phone. And if you have that, that's great. But it's nice to do it, and I've been doing it on Facebook to say hi. You know, you've probably seen on my Facebook page, I say hi like on the holidays to my family and relatives. I've done that, and so it's not just, you know, doing things in social media. You can just send a private thing to a family member or a friend.
So I went back to wearing my LeBrons.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because remember I had those red ones and I stopped wearing them?
Yeah.
Like a few months ago. It's just, I don't really like wearing super flat shoes, and just, I went back to my insecurity days, and, you know, LeBrons make me feel better about myself. So, and for nobody that's ever wore a pair of LeBrons, they're heavier and they're not as flat. Most of them are not as flat. So it gives you a more powerful walk, and it makes me feel big, more powerful. Just like a king, you know, he's King James. It makes me feel better about myself. It may sound stupid, but you know, if you've ever had an insecurity about something, then you know you understand what I'm saying. I don't wear lifts though. I'm not that short, and I can never wear lifts.
Yeah.
Even taller guys can get insecure. Ask Greg. Like, it happens.
Yeah, it does. I actually knew a kid. I didn't, you know, we weren't really friends, but it just ran across from him in school, and I think he was like over 7 foot tall and had big feet, and he was actually insecure at how tall he was.
I've seen that too. You know, just guys that get older and bigger before everybody else. There was this kid that was a massive bully, 6'3", like nearly 300 pounds. Just an asshole, you know. He's almost gotten his ass beat on a few occasions by being a bully or picking on the wrong kid, but it never happened because he moved away. But he was a bully. He was insecure, fat, and he just bullied smaller people, like really smaller people. You know, he didn't pick on anybody his own size. And I didn't like that. He picked on me, and I was older and a grade ahead of him. He picked on me, so I know what it's like.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Greg, I was a lot smaller than I am now. He never physically put his hands on me. Besides one time he ran up on me and kicked me in the leg and then ran away like a bitch. And I started bleeding from my leg. It pissed me off. He hit like a scab or something and it just started bleeding. Not much I could do.
Yeah.
Good thing I was wearing high socks that day, but he was a bully. So when someone's a bully, sometimes in life there's not much you can do. You can either ignore them or I just let it go because even if I beat his face in, I'm not gonna win, right?
Right.
And the reason why I won't win is because zero tolerance, right? Zero tolerance. It won't matter. I wish I could see him now, though. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
It's like now that I'm bigger and stronger than I was, it's like, would you pick on me now, or would he just ignore me like he did all the other big kids? But he was an asshole, and I'm glad he won't do it. Some people just never work, man.
Oh, I know.
Today's going to be a long day too, buddy. How about for you?
I'm not sure what the day will bring, but yeah, sometimes it can be long.
What I've been doing a lot, Greg, is I've just been sleeping all the time. Like, whenever I get home, I barely read fan fiction anymore. What I do most of the time is I just sleep. I sleep all the fucking time. Most of the time when I get out, I don't instantly fall asleep. Of course, it takes me like an hour, but I'll sleep until like 2 to 3 in the morning, and then either sleep on and off or just read a little bit and just try to go to the gym or whatever. But these withdrawals are still kicking my ass because most of the time, if you remember when I was vaping, I would stay up until like 12 or 1 every day.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like, Greg, the last time I went to sleep this early is probably when I was a little kid. Like, I'm just sleeping all the fucking time. It's ironic. But hey, this is what is needed.
Yeah, sometimes you need to sleep.
Exactly. That's just is what it is. I'm also almost good. But I'm also getting tired of the winter, man. I'm getting tired of this weather. I just don't want to deal with it anymore.
Yeah, this winter's been weird up here, over here in Chicago.
You're still up north too, jackass.
I know. I just want to say you're more northern than I am.
Yeah, you ain't fucking kidding. Like, it was snowing here yesterday. Lightly. But still, it's like, dude, what the fuck is going on, you know?
We're supposed to get a little snow tomorrow morning.
Yeah. I don't know, bro. Today's just gonna be a long fucking day, and I'm already tired. Like, fucking, it'll probably be another day where I have no energy. Of course, that can be from a multitude of things, but I just am willing to bet money it's from the smoker flu. And even if it's not, it's like I don't really have the time nor really care where it came from. Like, either it'll go away or it is what it is. I just got to keep going forward.
Yeah.
wondering if I should call out of work for the 13th, so I can see the dentist for the gums, or if I should just pay everything off first and then worry about a dentist or whatever. But it's mixed, like just my emotions on it.
Right.
I don't know which to do, Greg. I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
what?
I was gonna say it could go either way. Probably because you want to pay off your bills before you get into that. But then if you go to the dentist, it's kind of like, okay, we go through this. What's going to happen next? What is he going to have me do? And
exactly.
And I know you want that done, and
not as much as I used to.
I don't know. Maybe if it were me, I'd probably just try to pay everything off and then save the money for that.
To me, well, I mean, it's free, like
that's
consultation.
Okay. I forgot about that.
It's a consultation, but I just don't really feel like going. It's at like 7:30 in the morning, and I don't know how long he's going to take.
Yeah, usually for that, it's probably between half hour to 45 minutes. That's usually what happened to me.
Probably, I'll just show up earlier, and hopefully it won't take as long. I'll still go, because I'm curious as to what he'll say, but if he's like, it needs it needs super money, then I'll just have to just let it go on, because I don't have that type of money, and I'd rather get dentures,
Right.
Listen, sometimes in life, not everybody gets the best amount of teeth.
No, that's true.
Sometimes in life you gotta get false teeth. George Washington did. Fucking my dad did. Like, a lot of people, my uncle could have, but he's too fucking lazy. What I'm saying is that I just haven't been blessed with good teeth. And I still gotta fix my underbite, but I just want to fix my other financial obligations first, to be honest.
Right.
I don't really want to keep doing this yet. Part of me is just like, it just is what it is, Tim. It's better to just focus on the things you can control.
Yeah.
A part of me is like, why not get all the dental work you need done? If you're gonna move to a new state, like me and you keep saying, why not get it done in the new state? Because if I get braces, I'm not really gonna be able to move to that state.
Right.
Just that's what it is, Doug. And I'm just gonna. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, honestly. I just don't know. I'm just tired. I honestly just want to sleep. I don't really care about most other things anymore,
Mm-hmm.
Sleep is taken up my life. Sleep has become a very important aspect of my life. I just don't care about a lot of other things. And I think I can obviously see that as a problem, because it's like, dude, you're sleeping a lot more than you used to. What if that's my body catching up to what sleep I should have gotten over the years?
Right.
Like, what if that's my body being like, all right, you stayed up as much as you did and having the energy you did wasn't normal. Now it's going to go back to what it should have been. And then that's what fucked me up. But I don't want it to be all negative. So what's going to happen is, excuse me. What's going to happen is, let's go on to other things we can talk about.
Okay.
So remember ReZero, that anime I was talking about the half elf?
Yeah.
Well, a new season has come out for it.
Okay.
It first came out in 2016, and then the second season came out in 2020. You know?
Yeah.
I think it was 2020 or 2021 that the second season came out. And, you know, I thought it'd be like a long time before another season came out, you know? So I'm happy as shit, bro. Any other shows you're looking forward to, like, even if it's not anime?
No, not right this minute. I like to see what, the movies that are coming out and see what I like out there.
Have a good day, man. I'm sure a few good movies are going to be coming out. I can't really think of any right now. Like, I'm sure I was thinking a few days ago, but, you know, again, ever since I quit smoking, not to keep going back to the topic, but my mind's been blank mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to be honest with you, Greg, I'm getting better. Like, it's funny. I'm getting better at, like, focusing on one goal, one object. And that's work. Or the podcast, you know?
Yeah.
But remember, if you remember when I was smoking and vaping, I was always not off track, but my mind was focusing on too many things, or my mind was always jumbled. Not saying I was stupid, but like I always told you that my brain was foggy.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Like when you smoke, your brain can become all foggy and shit like that. So it sucks. I mean, to be honest with you, Greg, I can't even fucking remember what I was like before. You know, I started smoking. Like I can't remember. So a part of me is excited to see what it would be like to go back to, hey, you remember? And it's like, no, I don't remember, but I do want to remember, you know?
Right, yeah.
I'm super excited. I'm glad you never started, Greg. Now, if only we could talk about your drinking addiction. See that, everybody? He laughs about being an alcoholic. The great Mickey Mantle died that way. Probably like, fuck you, Tim. He's not really an alcoholic, just in case anybody's wondering. Because there's always that one person that will listen and probably take it seriously. For anybody, listen, he's not actually an alcoholic. I just like fucking with him. I don't even think he drinks, actually.
No.
So Austin invited me in December. He's like, "Hey, do you want to go down to Florida and look at places and try to apply for jobs? It's like we could take a week off and shit." And I'm like, I was thinking of you in my head, and I'm like, what if I invite Greg for that? Because I was thinking of my mom, but my mom's not going anywhere, and she's older than the both of us. She'll have to figure her own shit out, Greg.
Does she want to move down there, or is she just going to stay there for a little bit?
No, she wants to exceed from New York, but she's either going to use a guy or she's going to use, like, anybody she can. So if that's Jeff, like, remember she tried to use my brother Jeff, and she'll try to use me, is what I'm saying. Like, she'll try to use anybody she can.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that, like, I love her, but I don't know if she'll be the right person for us to want to live with, because I don't trust her. I love her, but I don't trust her. And that's always a sad thing, Greg, when you can't trust your own mother.
Yeah, I know.
You know, I wish you really would have seen that, because your mom is wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. And I just wish your mom was like that, too.
Well, she seems wonderful, but anybody can put up a mask, right?
Right.
And being a nice person doesn't mean you're a good person. I learned that too.
Oh, I know.
I've met some nice people that you're like, no wonder they are the way they are. You're nice, but it seems kind of fake. So personally, I mean, if I could ever help my mom out in all seriousness, I would try, but not over my own happiness or mine and yours next big adventure. Or if like it doesn't work out, like with us trying to move when we can, like if I have to go to Austin first and then you come down, I'm willing to do that too. But I don't see that being necessary.
Right.
Because Austin, I don't totally trust either. He's a good kid, but I feel like he's too flippant. Like he doesn't put 100% in, even though he says he will. Because remember when me and him were supposed to move, I think it was last year, like we started talking about it early in the year, like May, and he never did. He changed his mind.
Yeah.
Remember, this is the same kid you were jealous over.
Yeah, I remember that.
Listen, that's not totally fair. I shouldn't have put it that way because they're actually listening. I didn't mean it like that. I just like to bust his balls. Well, it's not up to me to say your past. So I'll just leave it at, he thought he was being replaced. They never were really introduced like Brandon. So, you know, he made an assumption. He was wrong, but he made one, and I didn't really clarify it as much as I could have. So he just assumed he was getting replaced, and he got mad. But we squashed it.
Yeah.
But it's not up to me to tell your team. That's on you. That's your business, not mine.
Yeah.
Well, it is. It's not my business to tell others. So that would always be up to you if you want. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
But, you know, I told Austin, he and him should start doing videos, and Brandon's done, so it's just a shame it took so long to do it. But, you know, I don't regret you guys meeting, so That was the last video we technically really did because all we did was smoke for the Christmas one and didn't really do anything for the others. So, well, I really wish the last one would have been the tribute. I still watch that and get sad because it's like who he was, you know?
Right.
It's a sad one. You know what I'm saying, Greg?
Yeah, I understand.
But I'll tell you what, why don't you tell them one of your former friendship stories while I go to this business?
Okay. Well, let's see. One of my friends that I had, I met in community college, and he was he was the same age as I was, and we became good friends, and we were in the same classes together, and we just started building a good friendship. And then all of a sudden, we loved to travel, so we ended up going traveling together, and went traveled down to Florida together, and went down. Well, both of our places, what we enjoyed doing to Florida was going to Disney World and seeing Orlando. And we did that for a few times, and then we decided to get into business together. And things started going okay, and then he started going downhill because his dad was going on a dating thing and found this one woman, and she kind of was running his life and basically destroying him and taking away from the kids and all that. So I think that kind of affected him. And then our friendship started falling apart. We started arguing with each other, started fighting each other, and this is a kid that we kind of brought him into the family a little bit and try to help him out. And then we moved up to northern Wisconsin, and my parents bought a house up there, and I was basically house sitting for them. And then all of a sudden, me and him roommated at the house, and next thing you know, we started getting more and more into fights. I don't know if he was jealous of me or what. I don't know. I wasn't doing anything. And remember, we had a business together, so the business was starting to fall apart. And then the friendship started falling apart, and we just got into a big argument one day. I told him, this is it, and I kind of threw him out of the house and said, we're done. And ever since then, I haven't talked to him since, and this was going on for quite a number of years, and this happened 2007 is when, into 2006, early 2007, is when all this started happening. And then at the end of 2007 is basically when I kicked him out. It was in October, just 2 weeks before Halloween, I remember. And it was hard because we knew each other for a good 15 years. And it was hard. I tell you, I'll be honest, I got very emotional, and because he was a good friend of mine, and if we never thought this would ever happen. And after that, I just kind of went on my life. And do I forgive him? Yeah, I do forgive him. I think he was just going through some rough times, and he ended up just taking it out on me. But wherever he is, what he's doing, I wish him the best of luck. He did move up here back to the Chicago area, but I haven't seen him since, and I don't plan to. So that's kind of the story of a friendship that kind of went south.
That's not the one that did the drugs and you punched in the face, right?
No, that's not the one.
Okay.
That one came out after this one, because that's when I met him right after this kid left.
And how many years later was it that you met me? Or was it months?
It was probably a few months or a few years later.
You know, I have my old, we might as well get out some of these stories, because we used to tell stories, Greg.
Yeah.
What we used to do. And since it's a podcast, that's kind of what they do on there. So I had this kid named Chris. I don't want to say his full name or where he's from or where he's at, but I had this friend Chris that I was best friends with for a very long time. I knew him for so many years. We went to school together. I knew his family. I met his dad. And, I was best friends with his older sister's boyfriend. We just were very close. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Chris was a nice kid, but super quiet, socially awkward, could never talk to a girl to save his life. He was just an awkward kid. And I fell for that, the homo. Like, I was just like that. So I thought we were friends outside of what we were. So I was just friends with him for so many years. Helped him out, stood up for him whenever he was getting bullied, tried to get him to talk to girls, become more confident. None of it ever paid out because he was always just Chris or Theodore, because his sister was the biggest fan of the Chipmunks. God, that brings back so many memories. But, tell a separate video about that. But, they were considered the losers, the loners, just like me. And I just couldn't keep my mouth shut. After high school, I thought he was going to go to college like me, or join the military, or do something. Like, he lived with his grandmother and grandfather who were at the time in their 60s. And, they were retired and on SSI and barely making enough. And his older sister did go to college. I give her that, but it was for an art degree. She never did anything with it. So I don't know what these people did. I really don't. And then she invited her boyfriend. She invited her boyfriend, who was from Minnesota. Super nice guy. I'm not going to talk shit about him. Because, Greg, in this story, he was the one I liked the best. You get it?
Yeah.
So, anyways, to make a long story short, after high school, I stopped talking to them as much because I went to college, two different colleges, and I met more people. I met more friends. I didn't really hang out with them as much, or I just realized that I didn't need them. I could do better,
Right.
And it's fucked up thinking back about it, but I was young, I was cocky, I was getting a lot of girls at the time, and I just thought I was the shit. I thought I was that big guy on campus until depression and a whole bunch of issues hit me. A couple years later. He stopped working. He never worked a day in his life. He just sat watching PS3 and Netflix. Like, he didn't do anything, and he still hasn't that I've heard of. And you know how my dad raised me, to work hard and to get everything you need. Life's not going to hand it to you.
Right.
And he was using his grandmother. Like, all of them were. No matter how much I loved Russell, her boyfriend, no matter how much I liked him, because, Greg, before you came along, he was my best friend. Like, he was the dude I would tell everything to. He was just a really nice guy. You get it?
Yeah.
Super good dude. I would tell him everything. And, he just... I miss him. I really do. He's the only one I miss. I don't miss the other two, but I miss him. Well, I confided in him one day because I was getting on their cases. I'm like, hey, don't they want to work? They're using their grandmother. I wasn't raised that way, but maybe they're having trouble. I could try to drive them, but they never took me up on it, and it just kept getting worse and worse, and eventually it came to a head one day where I'm like, hey, why the fuck are they so lazy? Like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, they're just using the grandparents. That's fucked up. That's bullshit. Like, I was taught to be your own man, to do everything you can, and they're not doing a fucking thing. They're not going anywhere. It's like, why are you around people like that, man? Like, do you need a place to stay? Like, I'll help you out. And he's like, Tim, I understand what you were saying. I understand, but if you were going to ask me who I'm going to stand up for, it's my sister, it's my brother-in-law, and my future wife. Like, I liked you. I see where you're coming from, but that's not your life, and you made a mistake, and I have to end our friendship. And he ended it just like that. Didn't give me a chance to reflect or anything. I respect it, though. He stood his ground. He did what he thought was right. He chose what he thought was right, but he said he didn't want to because he really did like me. He thought I was a cool dude, but I just was saying the wrong stuff, I guess. I don't regret a single thing I said, but I wish I could have at least kept him as a friend. I've tried apologizing despite my own ego and my own words, but he blocked me, and I haven't been able to find him since, so it just is what it is. I know where he lives, but I just don't have the nerve to knock on the door. It's been so many years.
Yeah.
It just is what it is, man. Like, sometimes it's just not worth it. It's just nostalgia. Why don't you tell them about the second story while I'm gone? I got another business.
Oh, the second friend? Okay. Well, after the first friend that I had, he left and everything. Probably about a month later, I became friends with this one kid, and I met him basically at a grocery store because that's where he worked. And he worked in the deli, and I was grocery shopping one time, and I started talking to him and thought he was a nice kid. And we started having this friendship thing, no homo, friendship thing. And he said, why don't you come on over and we'll talk and get to know each other. I said, sure, no problem. Next thing you know, went over there, and we started talking, and we just started becoming good friends. And every once in a while, we would hang out a couple of times here and there. And then it just started, almost, I don't say daily, but every other day he would call me over, and, we hang out and we watch TV. He liked to cook, so he cooked. Then we go out, and he liked going out to the bars, so we went to the bars. And I didn't really do much drinking or anything, so just went over there, kind of was his ride, I guess. And he was kind of, he knew people. It was a small town that we lived in, so it's one of those where everybody knows each other kind of a thing. And then all of a sudden, I didn't realize, I got to know him more and more, and I didn't know he was into the drugs and marijuana kind of a thing. And the marijuana didn't bother me. It was more of the other stuff. And then I want to say about a few months later after we met, we knew each other for actually 3 years. And about the third year, he started changing. And he started kind of avoiding me. I was kind of like, okay, I haven't heard from him. What's going on? And then all of a sudden, it was just, I started calling him, checking up on him, no answers, or be like, and then finally he'd call and say, well, one day I will call you and we'll hang out again. I said, okay. And then all of a sudden I get a Facebook message from his sister, and because she knows that we're good friends, and she goes, "What, have you heard from my brother lately?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't." Because I'm concerned, Dad is concerned, and that kind of thing. And I said, well, next time we get together, I will text you or send you a message and give you an update. So finally, I get a call, and then he starts talking kind of like weird, like ghetto-ish. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And he told me, let's meet over here at this restaurant and I'll give you an update what's going on. I said, okay, fine. We got to the restaurant and here he is dressed in this weird outfit. Never seen that before. And I'm thinking, okay, this is interesting. And he started talking, oh, I got a roommate now. And I'm like, okay. So he goes, I'll bring you over next week. We can talk, but just excuse the roommate. And the roommate was just, oh my gosh. I walked in the door and this guy was a, younger guy. And he was, I don't know, a white guy acting like a ghetto, being in the ghetto. I was just like, what the heck? And I'm like, this just isn't right. And then all of a sudden he started bringing his friends over, their friends over, and this was over a period of time. And then I started seeing the drugs coming in, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And that's when I started getting upset and angry. And one time he brought me over on my birthday. Well, actually, it was a couple days before my birthday. He goes, why don't you go out and buy some stuff, what you would like for your birthday? So I said, okay, fine. Here I am buying my own meal out of my own money. Then he comes over, I come over, and he says, I'm going to make you a nice meal. So we came up with like this roast or whatever, roast potatoes and everything. Then all of a sudden, knock on the door. And there's these two people standing there, and I'm like, who the hell are these people? Oh, we're going to have a little party with you. And I'm like, okay. And then he goes, well, forget about what we bought. Let's go back to the store. And I'm like, okay. So again, I had to spend my money going grocery shopping to get what he wanted, and we end up with hot dogs or something like that on the grill. And I'm like, I'm having this party with people I don't even know. And it's very uncomfortable. And dummy me, I could have walked out, but I just kind of stayed with it and stuff. But time went on, he started having other people come over, and it was just becoming a party house. And one day I walked in and I had a roommate. He had a friend over, and he was, I don't know, I don't want to say he was stoned, but he was just drugged out. And I was kind of like, are you okay? Do you need help? And he just kind of fell over. And I don't even know what he was on. So I got really mad one time, and I just said, and that's when we got into a fight, and I hit him in the face. And I said, I just can't do this anymore. And he had all these people in and out. It was like months doing this. Then finally he calls me up and he goes, guess what? I decided I'm not doing this anymore. And he kicked everybody out of the house. And he was like, he had really severe bipolar depression and some other things too. And by that time, we were trying to work things out. That's when I moved back to Chicago. So that was my story. It was just.
Wait. You're missing a crucial detail. You saw him in the restaurant a few months later.
Oh yeah, you're right. And yeah, I saw him in the restaurant when I came back, and basically I just kind of took off. I didn't want him to see me or anything, so I was hoping he didn't see me. I don't know. I don't think he saw me, but yeah, that was a story. Yeah, all that. I think what was sad about the whole thing is I had these two friends that you thought were friends, and then it just kind of, yeah, I don't know. It just kind of all went boom, boom, kind of like 1 and 2, and just didn't expect it. So after that, I was just like, I'm done for a while. But I haven't been in touch with them, both of them. I haven't seen them. I don't want to have any connections with them anymore, so I don't even care where they are.
Come on now, Greg. I'm sure they're decent people.
They're just, well, yeah, they're decent people, but I think what's frustrating is, it's kind of like what you said earlier. Well, it's kind of like when you said, you think they're somebody, but then you find out they're not. But they both had some issues, so I'm not faulting them.
Yes, but at the same time, that's not really an excuse. Like, I have issues, and I don't do any of that.
No, that's true.
It's not. I think people often blame their problems on the short end of the stick that they got, or some issues that they had in the past, or whatever they want to blame it on. A lot of people don't want to take accountability. There's a lot of people where it's everybody else's fault.
Yeah.
And, some people can learn from being at the bottom and just having life kick you in the dick repeatedly until you're on your knees.
Yeah.
Until you're on your knees too. That's what happened to me. That's what's been happening to me, but I'm learning from it.
Yeah.
I'm taking accountability for my own mistakes and what I've done and just making my life better. And, there's people in my life that I have met where they would die on the streets because they can't take any responsibility, and they've gotten lucky because others have helped them out. I unfortunately don't have that in my life, but it's not really what you have. It sometimes can be who you have, as rare as that is. And a lot of people get lucky with that, and they just take advantage of it, and others would literally kill for that, because that's all they ever wanted in life. Not to get the good job, or the finest materials, or the finest piece of ass girls you could ever want, the girl with the big ass, the big tits. Like, all they want is a good friendship. Not just one, but actually, like, a small circle. And, I was one of those people, but, it never really happened at the right time. I always met the people at the wrong time, actually.
Yeah.
So, I felt like maybe I could have helped others if I met them at a different time, or we just met in a different life, Like, there's been times where I was literally, like, not legal, and, like, I met older people that were cool, but could probably get in trouble by hanging out with me, and I met people that were younger than me that I couldn't really hang out with, but I wanted to. They're so cool,
Yeah.
And, like, you fall into the first category, Like, it makes me wish we met earlier, or grew up around the same time, but that just is what it is. I also wanted you to tell your story, if you will. That's why I also wanted you to tell a story, because you were finally talking. Like, you're not much of a talker. Like, usually you let me talk and you'll throw in tidbits, or I'll ask you a question and you'll give a little bit of a response. But, usually I'm the main talker. That's kind of how it always was.
Right.
Well, I would like to hear you talk sometime. Like, I got you to talk for quite a bit. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
and you told them in better detail than you told me. Then you told them to me prior, so I'm happy for you to do that too. It seems like you expanded them. You didn't tell them in the same way, but you expanded also. So good on you.
Oh, thank you.
You know, like if any of our stories are in future videos or past videos that we've done, we're sorry, but you know, we're just on the topic, and you know, we just wanted to tell some old stories. In fact, since you did two friendship stories, I'll do another one. How I lost a close childhood friend for the stupidest of reasons, right?
Okay.
So I used to go to school, be on the same baseball team, and play with this kid named Steve Gluey, right?
Okay.
And he grew up without a father. He had anger issues, and he was raised by a single mom, and he just had a lot of problems. But he liked anime, he liked video games, he liked WWE, so we had stuff in common. And, well, one day, you know, he invited me over, and a couple of times I went over after that, and we just had a good time. Playing video games, going to the store and getting something to eat, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, well, one day I drove over, and because that was the first time I got my license, I drove over. It was just before the few final days it was like the final weekend before school ended. Like, I finally got my license, I was able to drive. Everything was great, man. Like, it all was working out. Me and him, you know, he moved away from the school year. We weren't as close as we used to be, but we were trying to get closer. So, me and him had a great day. You know, we went to the store, got some Doritos, some drinks, played WWE, watched a few anime, you know, had a, here. Hello. Thank you. You have a good day, man. But yeah, you know, we sorry about that. That was a customer. We literally played video games, just had a few walks, like just old friends. You know, it's hard to describe because it happened over 8 years ago. You know, I've been out of high school for 8 years now, and you know, time just flies. I was a young man then.
Yeah.
I didn't want to spend the night that night because for some reason I just couldn't sleep at his house. Like, his attitude that day, I wasn't happy about. There was just a few things that bothered me during that week, and you know, I thought maybe I should have better friends, or he just wasn't the friend I thought, and I just wanted to go home, you know?
Right.
And, you know, I just couldn't wait. Like, I woke up at, like, 1 in the morning, and I waited 3 hours for him to wake up. But he was like a late sleeper, so he wasn't going to chocolate. Fuck. She gave me chocolate. I don't eat chocolate anymore. Hershey's. I just don't eat Hershey's. Like, I don't want that shit staining my teeth anymore, so that's not me. But anyways, to get to the story, I leave at like 3 in the morning, right?
Yeah.
So he wakes up, and he's like, dude, where the fuck did you go? And that's not even the issue. If you wanted to go home, that's fine. But what you forgot to do is you forgot to lock my fucking door. You know, I got a little sister here, and, you know, it's my mom and stepdad. Like, you forgot to lock the door, man. You could put us in danger. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? You live in the suburbs. Like, it's all good. Just calm down. And, you know, he just got mad, and I was immature. I didn't really see it from his point. I just got super mad, and, you know, it just ended with our friendship ending, and, you know, me telling him, if I ever see you again, I'll fucking kill you. I'll beat your ass. I'll beat your face in. And I could if I really wanted to. Like, he was smaller than me. I certainly could have done it, but I was just mad. Like, I didn't really mean it. I was just angry and mad and defensive, and, You know, I told you a long time ago, there was times I couldn't see outside myself until my 20s.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
I think we both overreacted, and you know, I had guilt for a little bit. Yeah, I had guilt. So I tried to, like, I was originally invited to his graduation party.
Okay.
He blocked me on Facebook. He told me to, you know, fuck off, obviously, and I tried to call him later when he worked at Tessie Plastics in Elbridge in Auburn, and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, man, like, can we be friends? You know, because I really did regret it. And when I say these people are petty, Greg, like, they can't forgive, like, me or even Brandon can, because remember, Brandon's forgiven me, and I've forgiven him.
Yeah.
You know how I said school friends, they care about you in school, but now outside of, that's what I mean. You're just a convenience.
Yeah, I've had quite a bit of those.
I valued him more than he valued me. So he told me to fuck off. He forgave me, but we can never be friends. Over just something like that. So I'm like, okay. And it turns out later on, I'm not proud of this, but I hacked into my ex's Facebook, and I checked out his profile, right?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see what my friend was up to. You know, have you ever wanted to check out on old classmates or baseball mates or whatever?
Yeah.
I wanted to see what he was like, and it turns out he was transgender.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, and he went like, when? So I messaged him as my ex, and I'm like, hey, you know, are you ever going to forgive such and such? And she's like, Tim? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, I forgave you a long time ago. We just aren't friends anymore. And me and her are actually Facebook friends now, but, you know, he moved to Colorado, and I decided it just wasn't worth keeping up a conversation. You know, she was in a relationship, and, you know, maybe that would explain all the anger issues and the problems she had with girls back in the day. I never would have thought. But I wish it happened.
Right.
You know, I wish Steve Godspeed. I really do. Because I know he goes by Glenn now, and he's happier, much happier, but I can't forget my buddy. Like, I can't forget, like, who he was.
Yeah.
And, you know, to me, he was, he was Steve. He was my buddy. And, you know, why don't I tell you how I lost my last friend from that?
Okay.
Why don't I tell you that story?
Okay.
And I think you remember the name Jimmy. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, I remember you're talking about him.
Jimmy. Fucking Jimmy. So we were all like a duo, right? All four of us.
Yeah.
We were all friends with each other, but the friendships fell apart after school. Jimmy, surprisingly, his friendship, Greg, actually lasted the longest.
Okay.
Well, it actually ended the same time around Chris's did, but still. Jimmy I don't even know how to describe this fucking kid. On one hand, he was a creep. Like, he would tell me the sick, perverted things he wanted to do to the hot girls, like tie them up, BDSM shit, like handcuffs. Like, he had tales of being a knight and shit, and I'm like, dude, you're a fucking weirdo. Like, get the fuck out of my face. His dad was a registered sex offender. He had autism. He was never good with girls. He would always be jealous if his friends ever got girls. But I liked being his friend. He was one of my closest friends for so long. I just loved him, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
No homo. I loved him. He was my buddy. No matter how much shit he talked about me or how bad he treated me at times, like, I loved him. And again, I could have fucked him up if I really wanted to. Like, when you can hurt someone, and even if they do fucked up shit to you, you hold back.
Right.
You love that. And I loved him, right? I ain't gonna, no cap, I loved him. And, you know, I wish I could have ended better. What happened was, you know, he was just tired of our status quo. Like, I would get the girls, steal them away from him. Like, you know, we would fuck with each other, and he just became a different dude than what he was. You know, I would steal his crushes and just always get the girl and the friends, and he would just kind of just be Jimmy, and just it never really worked out. And he got more and more miserable, and I don't know how to put it any better. He just never was the same, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, that ended because he was being a dick. Like, he thought I changed, I thought he changed, and we were just becoming different relationship. And, you know, Greg, the messed up part is I tried to keep him in my life, you know, like apologizing, you know, begging for his friendship, because I didn't want the last of my childhood friendship to go away.
Right.
But as you know, it did. You know, like, he was there when I saved that girl from the seizure. He was there when I dated Abby. He was there when everybody else left. So it meant more, but you can't keep that. You know, you can't keep everybody, right? You can't please everybody.
Oh, I know.
You know, it makes me want to cry just thinking about these people, because, you know, they got me through some tough times, and I'm skipping over him because it's kind of painful to talk about, just bringing back up all these old memories, especially Abby. But, you know, let's move on to a different topic. And, you know, let's just move on to a different friendship. Austin was a kid I met in college, super fat, didn't really have many friends, and he said I was cool with him, cool to him. And I'm like, okay, I don't remember that, but I'm glad I was cool to you, man. And he's like, yeah, you were super nice. I re-met him 7 years later through Brandon, you know?
Yeah.
And him and Brandon used to work together at Wells College in Aurora. So what happened was he hit me up one day because he didn't really, like, me and him and Brandon used to hang out like the Three Amigos, and we just him and Brandon stopped getting along because I think Austin just realized what a fucking child he was becoming, and, you know, he just started focusing on himself, you know?
Right.
Because Brandon likes to smoke weed, Brandon likes to vape, he likes to do dabs. And Austin ain't about that. He's about fitness and, you know, bettering himself. And he just didn't like who Brandon and by extension who Brandon's girlfriend was becoming. So he ended their friendship. He stopped replying, and Brandon bitched about it one day to me because I noticed he stopped replying to Brandon, and me and him weren't that close. Well, I'm like, hey, I'll give it a try,
Yeah.
So Brandon was like, hey, try to get a hold of him. So I do. I get a hold of him, and I'm like, hey, why won't you answer Brandon? He's trying to do videos with you. He's trying to hang out with you. I'm kind of jealous because he stopped doing that with me. Which, just to save up time on this podcast, is the reason why me and him are no longer friends. Just always ditching me, never answering me, just never giving me any reason to think he was anything but a user. And that's probably why Austin also cut contact. And why he forgave me and not Brad. But anyways, what happened was fucking Austin gave us reasons, but then he's like, hey, do you want to hang out?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you know what? Me and him had hung out separately outside of Brandon before. Because I was Brandon first, then Austin,
Right.
But, yeah, I started hanging out with Austin. I hung out with him about 4 times, and then, Austin and Brandon had a big fight, and he stopped talking to him, and then and he was mad at me by extension because I chose Brandon, And then, he calmed down and he reached back out to me, and we just kind of decided it's better if it's just us and not him, and he can find other friends. Not that he treats his friends good anyways, but that's just kind of the whole truth of the situation, like, with the dirt on Brandon and how Brandon is, I had a lot of good times with Brandon. I don't like to trash him, but he's not who he used to be. He's been smoking ever since he was like 13 to 15 years old, and he's almost 22. You don't know what that did to his developing brain. You don't know how it changed his personality,
Right, yeah.
Because that's not how he always used to be.
Oh, I know. I saw from the videos, how different he was.
Our first videos.
Yeah.
And then you notice the change towards the end of the videos.
Yes, I did.
It's just not worth it, and it's better to move on, like you said, right? There's always other people out there, and if not, then me and you can move on, and we'll find different people down there.
Right.
And you know what, Greg? If we can't find people, we'll create people, because we're writers. If I can't find the perfect dream girl, I'll create her.
That's a good idea.
And you know what, Greg? I'll write her the perfect partner, because I know I'm not. I'll write for a girl what I cannot be. Or what kind of person we want in our life. Do it. That's just kind of what's been on my mind. But yeah, a few new anime are coming back. Not really fans of any of them besides ReZero. So I was excited to see that.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
Can't wait to see it. One day me and you will have to buy all 3 English versions, when that's available. And have to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
We still gotta make videos for the 2 new series we want to do.
Oh, yeah, we do. We definitely do.
You still have the copies of those movies we rated, right?
Yeah.
All right, and then you have the one plus. You have the theory we created, the
Yes.
syndrome.
Yes, I do.
I was gonna say it, but I'm like, you know what? I want to surprise them. I don't want to give it away.
Yeah, I would do that as a surprise, most definitely.
Yeah, 'cause I don't want somebody else to steal it and be like, hey, someone
No.
with a bigger fan base. Because let's be honest, it's happened before. Plagiarism is a real thing in the writing field and the creative field. So why not?
Yeah, and you can brand it and also copyright it.
I mean, if we do it first, I don't see why we can copyright it. That's right. I don't usually like to do that because, usually we have proof that we wrote something first because of Poem Hunter, which already copyrights it, but still.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
We can do that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't mind. Like, it's entirely possible. I just don't want to go that far.
Right.
I don't think we're big enough to have to worry about that. Maybe I can turn today around because I didn't get started until like 10:30, but I just did my 30th stop. And I only got 56 stops up. Maybe I can turn this around, Greg. Maybe. It depends.
I think you can.
But I will give credit where credit is due. Me and Austin were having a talk, and just about what he wants in life. He was talking about having a good business, the great house, and his dream car, which is a newer Corvette. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Because he's like, oh, we're gonna be so happy. And I'm like, that'll make you happy. Like, I thought when I was younger, I wanted all that because I thought that would make me happy. I thought a girl, kids, a nice house, just the suburban life that people used to get back in the 80s and 70s. I thought that would make me happy, but it don't. None of that would make me happy, and I already knew that. I just told him, I just want to be happy. That's what I want to do. Whether that's publishing books, working at a good business, just enough to survive and be happy. I no longer want the nice car or the trucks or whatever. Like, I just realized none of that makes me fucking happy, man. They're nice, but eventually you'll get bored with it and it will never be enough.
That's true, yeah.
I just don't want the debt anymore. Maybe I just want to be happy. And people think you need all that extra shit to be happy. I don't think so. I don't want anything. It'd be nice, but I don't want it. Not unless I work hard to achieve it. I don't. It'd be nice, but what's it gonna get me? I can't afford it by myself anyway.
And people that have that, they seem happy and nice about it, but then they find out later it's a struggle. So they're like, why did I do that?
Because they think that's what society needs to be happy.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Greg. I have lived a bohemian lifestyle. Like a few of my favorite writers: Orson Welles, Christopher Hitchens, Mr. Wilde. I forgot his first name, but his last name's Wild. Pretty sure you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I lived a bohemian lifestyle. You know, I used to drink more. I used to smoke a lot more, like every day, every second. Yeah, I used to travel more. I used to live a very bohemian lifestyle because I didn't give a shit. But, you know, eventually I became more health conscious and I just realized how isolated I made myself and how everything went awry. And, you know, I just realized that I can do better and I shouldn't be here. I should be in other places at other places. You know, I should be doing better and, you know, I shouldn't be here. I should have left a long time ago. I should have gotten I should have gotten out of my dad's shadow and anybody else's shadow a while ago, and I just never did because I didn't want to change the status quo. You know, I thought I'd want to be around the same people forever, and you know, I was falling into the same trap. And I don't want to do that anymore, man. So many other people do that. It's not worth living life that way.
No,
I don't
that's
want
true.
to do that. I've seen so many people just ruin their lives, never leaving, never discovering their true potential. You know, I want to leave and see what I can do. You know, that's why me and you are writing these books. You know, we're on the second book of a 3-part series. You know, maybe me and you will write a few books before we even publish one. I've thought about that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, we might just do that. Like, why don't you guys just publish a book or, like, why don't you just write a few novels or books or poetry books, like, before you even fucking publish one? And I'm like, you know what? I fucking thought about that. But I gotta go do this stuff. Why don't you tell them what your dream was when you were my age, or maybe even younger?
Okay. Boy, when I was a kid, I was one of those people where you had all these different ideas of what to do for a career or your dream. You know, I think about being a teacher. I thought about being a police officer, a firefighter, construction, travel, getting involved with traveling. I did so many things in my mind, and I think it's because, you know, you read things as a child, you see things on television, and that just kind of brings that to your memory. And then always thinking about, you know, having that perfect life, you know, living in a house and with a white picket fence, you know, how many times I heard that and stuff like that, and just living in a nice area out in the country. I even thought about living on an island at one time, and all these different dreams that I wanted to do. And you know, you always think to yourself, is it going to happen or what? Sometimes it does happen, sometimes it doesn't, um but I'm kind of, you know, things just went a different direction, and I wanted to be a police officer for quite a while, and that dream didn't happen. So then I got into the emergency thing, doing emergency preparedness and teaching people how to prepare for disasters and stuff. And that's really been a thing to me. But I also have on the back of my head thinking about getting back into traveling again. And like I said, that was probably my number one thing being a kid, was getting involved with travel. And I actually wanted to be a travel agent and, you know, show people and do people's travel plans and stuff. I really wanted to do that for quite a long time. And But with the internet coming into play now, a lot of the travel agents have lost their jobs because everybody can do everything on their computers and stuff. So I've kind of lost that, but sometimes I go back and think I wish I could do that or find some way. Maybe I can still. Um, but that was my dream. And then, you always have that dream, like I said earlier, having a perfect house with a picket fence, get married, have kids, and that just didn't work out for me. But I guess it was meant to be the way that it is. And am I happy with my life? Yes and no, but I just accept it and I move on um, and just enjoy my life right now and just trying to get through it and see where it takes me in the future, I guess. And I'm always willing to challenge things and adventures and stuff like that. So that's kind of my dream. But like I said, you wish your childhood dreams could come true, but sometimes it just doesn't.
For me, it just all I ever really wanted to be is when I was about 5. I remember I was in a diner with my dad, and I told him it was just me and him, and I told him I think I was in second grade or first, whatever. I told him, hey. He's like, yeah, and I'm like, I know what I want to be. He's like, what? I'm like, I want to be a famous author. I want my name to be far and wide and spread, and I want people to know who Timothy Long is. I want people to know I got shit going for me too. I want to be a famous poet. I want to be a favorite novelist. I want to go far and wide with my name. And he's like, okay, then do it. And 21 years later, I haven't done it yet, but I've accomplished everything else I pretty much wanted to do besides move and accomplish more. I got my bachelor's, I got my license, I got a few different jobs, I've lived in different states, I've traveled, I've had sex, I've had a few relationships here and there. Because for a lot of guys, that's the goal, have sex and find the girl. I haven't done that yet. I haven't found the perfect one, but there is no perfect one, I'm still trying to decide, after college, I still never figured out what I wanted to do. I thought it was being a cop or corrections, but that lessens as the days go on.
Yeah.
I got to, you'll have to excuse me, Greg. I got to get gas real quick. So why don't you just talk about whatever you want until I get back?
Okay. I'll just talk a little bit about the reason why I thought about the travel when I was young was when I was young, my parents and I traveled quite a bit, especially during spring break and summer vacations. We flew just very little, but majority it was driving. I used to live out in Arizona back in the early 80s. I was in Arizona probably about 1980, 81 to about 86, and lived in Phoenix and lived in Tucson. Phoenix for about 5 years, 1 year in Tucson. It was all because of my dad's job. And the scenery out in Arizona is just beautiful. If anybody's been out there, it's very beautiful. Seeing the cactus, seeing the sunsets, especially the sunset and the sunrise are very beautiful. The temperatures out there, yeah, it was hot, but the good thing is it was dry heat, not humidity. And yeah, I did see temperatures close to about 120 degrees. But it was just neat traveling all over Arizona, the different historical places, museums, and then every now and then we went out to California for a couple of days, and a lot of times we went out to Los Angeles. Probably been there a handful of times, up to San Francisco. I would not live in California, but it was just nice to visit and just get away for a little bit. And just with all that, it kind of brought my memory to travel, and I actually started taking pictures out of magazines and try to, do like a portfolio of different things, and that's how I just try to go into the travel industry. And like I said, it just didn't really work out, and then I had other interests that go into play. So, but I do love traveling. It's probably one of my favorite things I've ever done in my life. I've been to every state in the country except for Hawaii and Alaska. Some states more than one time, some states once, some states within 24 hours, because my parents and I traveled probably up to about 15-hour days just driving. And, but like I said, I've been to almost every state except for Hawaii and Alaska, Canada, Mexico, England, France, and then the Bahamas I've been to. So I like traveling, and sometimes I do wish I, go back and try to find a job in something that deals with travel. I thought about writing books. There's things I've thought about as a kid, I just never did. But I never know. I could go back to it as in an adult or retirement mode or something, because a lot of people love to, see things and hear about things, even places you never even heard of. In some of these towns I've been into, little places I've never even heard of, and it's just neat going to some of these small little towns and get to know the townspeople and the museums and eat in the restaurants and stuff. So you can see it.
Small town America, Greg.
But I don't know. I just, yeah.
Probably the last 2 minutes. I just let you talk in a mic so you can talk.
Yeah, I can. I just don't.
That's fucked up.
I know.
I get why. You like hearing me talk. I get it. But no, I understand. I think they get the point. Small town Americans are great. The museums, the historical markers. Don't forget the historical markers.
Yeah, those are good educational. I enjoy those.
Historical graves, like, I'll see William Seward, Harriet Tubman. I've been to the Tubman House. I've been to the Seward House. I don't know if you've ever been to those. If you're coming up in the summer, like you said, we can do a tour of those 2 places.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard of both of them.
I've heard of them, but never seen them.
Well, no shit. They've been dead for 200 years. I get what you meant. I just wanted to be a smartass. It's like, oh, you've seen them. Harriet Tubman died in 1913, so you're about 110 years off. And William Seward died in 1872. So you're 151 years off.
Yeah.
But, all joking aside, they're nice, but I don't want to get trapped in one.
Right.
Because you gotta remember, Greg, no matter how nice a small town looks or feels, sometimes I'll look at houses and I wonder who lives there. And, sometimes going through these one-field towns, I get a bad feeling. You can say, oh, you watched too much TV or too much creepypasta, but no, like some of these towns have eerie vibes to them, and I don't want to too long. I don't want to get too involved.
Yeah, I see what you're saying because I know. I've seen that too.
You just want to, it's like going through Chicago. You're like, I just want to escape it. I just want to escape it. Just want to go a different way. That's how I feel about Syracuse. If I ever need to go in there, I'll just avoid the South Side. That's where all the wannabe gangsters and the murders are happening. But it's just a dangerous city. It's a dangerous place. Not as dangerous as other places, but it is dangerous. And it's just not worth it, no matter how nice some of their places may be. Just like Buffalo, it's a very dangerous place, but they got some nice neighborhoods, but I'll never go there. I never want to go there again. Speaking of Syracuse, that's what I meant. I've never been to Buffalo, but I don't want to go to certain places.
Right.
No matter what they got in them. The nicest city I've ever been to was Charlotte, North Carolina.
Been through there and I've been to the airport. That's pretty much it.
Dude, we gotta go to the city sometime.
I didn't really stop.
Nice.
I didn't really stop there.
I've pretty much been to every major city in the Northeast and Southeast besides, Florida and New York City.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Boston. I've been to Cleveland, Columbus, Ohio. I've been to Atlanta. I've been to Savannah. I've been to Richmond. I've been to Washington, D.C. Just anywhere you can think, I've been. Rochester, Syracuse, fucking, what I'm saying? I've been to where Harvard's at. I've been to Salem, Massachusetts, where they hung the witches. That's
Oh, yeah.
place.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I've been there, But some things are just never meant to be. But I do want us to publish books, and that's why I'm having them write us now. Like, me and you will probably write a few books before we even publish one, but I'll be happy about that because we got a few more. If they're like, hey, do you got any more? Like, how long is it going to take? And we'll be like, we might have a few ideas. And then we just give them another one 2 months later.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Or if, they weren't all free published, I'd be like, hey, we can fucking do that free for free. To save money or to get more money, whatever. Like a whole trilogy coming out at the same time. But I don't want to do that. I want it to be one per year. So a lot of people might not see these poems until later on, but that just is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I feel like this might be the only type of videos we do for a while because it's the easiest one. It just requires us talking, which we do a lot anyways, and it can be anything random. We're not a professional YouTube setup. We're not a professional podcast. It's just us talking.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
so it doesn't have to be anything special, nor is it going to be. That, and to be honest with you, I can't really think of any other type of videos to do or that I even want to do. Because this was kind of like a last minute thing where we're like, what the fuck do we do now? Like, it's either quit YouTube or figure something out. And I'm just glad we started doing this.
Yeah, me too.
It's easy. Gives us something to do, and it makes us stay relevant, And, of course, free views. So,
Yeah, that's true.
Although I do want to ask you something. Do you think we should do one of those presidential AI videos where we use the voices and shit?
I mean, we can try it. I mean, I have nothing against it.
Because I've thought about it, and people are getting bad subscribers from these types of videos. Like, there was this dude that had like 0 subscribers, and then he uploaded like 10 of those fucking videos. Don't get me wrong, the ones he made are very good. But he made like 10 of them, and he got like 46,000 subscribers. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Wow.
I know. It's like, dude, do you know what we can do with 46,000 subscribers?
Yeah, I'm sure we can do a lot.
That's what I'm saying, Greg.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Well, yeah, but a part of me is just wondering, is it too late? Like, did we miss the opportunity?
I don't think it's never too late. It's just, you don't know until you try it.
I just don't think we'll get as many views as we could have if we did it earlier.
Yeah.
But another part of me is just like, I don't know how to create it. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's something that we could look into, do some researching on.
Because you would technically have to create it, because I don't have the computer or like the resources to do that.
Yeah.
But I at least wanted to try it because we've tried some other, things. Like we've done traveling videos, we've done podcasts. Like we've done a lot of videos. So that's what I'm saying. Like I want us to try it. While it's still big, while it's still relevant.
Right.
And people may be like, "Oh, so you're really doing it for the views?" It's like, no, we're doing it for the subscribers. Why would I recommend other YouTubers if I'm just doing it for the views like I did last time? But I just want to try new things. More subscribers means more views. So yeah, and more support. So but I just feel like we're gonna end up abandoning this someday.
Yeah.
But we actually have a second channel, and I want you guys to subscribe to it. It's Long and MacLaurin. Long, LONG, and simple, and MacLaurin, MacMorran.
Yep.
2 R's, I think.
Yep, you got it right.
We have all our poetry and stories on there. I'm in the process of finishing 2 poems, so those will be done within the next week or 2. I want to write this book quicker than I did the last one, which took me about 10 years to do. Well, actually, 12 years, if you want to count. No, about 11 years. Because we started finishing it up last year. And I started the new book last year. So we've been working on this for close to a few months now. If anybody out there is ever struggling with, do you believe in God, or do you think you should have accomplished more at your age? Do you not know what you truly want to do, or do you feel like a loser, or just any of life's difficulties that can happen to anyone? I notice, like, I feel that, I know what it's like. I know how you can feel. And one of the big questions I always see people ask is, does it ever get better? We've all asked ourselves that question at one point. And in my opinion, I don't think it gets better. You have to make it better. But for a lot of people, especially those that end their lives or are in pain the rest of their lives, it never does. But a lot of those people give up. They never move. They just don't do anything. And, that's a disservice to themselves. So, It really depends. Sometimes you can change it, and other times you're fucked no matter what you do, and I feel bad for you. I feel like mine is one of those things where I still have time to change it. Even Greg still has times, but for people that are worse than us or have it worse than us, it might be too late for them, or they got a longer road than we do, and therefore it's a fucked up journey regardless. But does it get better for a lot of people? No, unfortunately not. That just is what it is. A lot of people don't like to hear that, but I just advocate for the truth. I don't think there's a God. I, for the most part, don't think it ever will get better, and you just have to live with the life that you've been given. Whether who's in your life or nobody's in your life, you just have to live for what it is. And if you can't do that, then, I never advocate suicide, but if that's ever what you want to do, I'm not going to judge you. I used to judge it very harshly, but people do it for different reasons, and I've been there before. I've tried before, so has Greg once upon a time, I'm sorry. we understand, and some people laugh like Greg just did because it's a morbid topic, and for a lot of guys, society and people in general don't care about their mental health. It's mostly about girls that get cared for and complimented and loved unconditionally. So, even in prison sentences, they get lighter, and their crimes are viewed as horrible. So they laugh. They laugh to mix the pain, so they don't go insane. So they don't snap and take a few people out or themselves. I understand. No, I'm not advocating for it. I won't advocate for it. I don't think somebody should do it unless they're mentally ill to the point where nothing they do will help, or they have a terminal disease, or they're old and they don't want to live anymore. Those are really the only times that, or you're paralyzed. Those are really the only times I can really see. You should give up on life. Being lonely, I don't think is really an excuse to kill yourself, but those are just my own personal feelings. And my personal feelings shouldn't decide in a factor whether you kill yourself or not. I'm just giving my own perspective. I personally think it is cowardly, despite what I said earlier. But, again, if you do it, I'm not going to judge you personally. That's your own prerogative. I don't know why you killed yourself. I don't know what made you go to that conclusion. Did you tell anybody? Did you look around you and see if somebody has it worse? I know that's not a good analogy. People shouldn't do that, but they do. That's human nature. We judge. We wonder who has it worse, who has it better, That's just what it is. And not enough people do that. They get lost in their fucking head. It's like a never-ending thing. It's always in your head, pounding until you finally give out. Some do and some never don't. It's a never-ending struggle. And some are stronger than others. Some are better than others. That just is what the fuck it is. And some people don't like to announce that. Some people don't like to say that because it doesn't sound fair. But life is not fair. It never has been. And I have accepted that. And I think Greg accepted that a long time ago, too. I don't personally agree with the way that he did that. And he knows why. I'm going to keep it to ourselves, but he knows why. And he hasn't accepted some things that I've done, but he hasn't judged me. And he understands because he's been there. Not everybody's the same, no matter how much they think alike or what they've gone through that is alike. Everybody is still different in some regard. Except for very few people, like pedophiles or murderers. Usually they do the same thing for the same reasons. It's about power, control, but seek help. If you really are that down bad, I'll add in a new one. If you're homeless, and I'm not talking about living in your vehicle, but I mean like where you truly have nothing and no one, you don't have a phone, you live in the woods and you're isolated from society for so many years, I would understand. Because there's really no way out. You know, society doesn't want to help you. They look at you as you're a bum, a cactus that deserves to be killed. They don't care. They'll only try to help because they think it's good karma. They think something good will come from it. Or they'll announce it and try to get good press from it. It's a sad system. If the government could make money from it, homelessness would be eradicated tomorrow. But unfortunately, there just is no cure because they don't care. And that's just ultimately what it comes down to, right?
Yeah, you're right.
They don't care. I think this was our best talk yet, actually.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, it seems like the more we talk, maybe we can get into different topics. You know, I felt a little emotional, and I still do, talking about old friends I haven't talked about in a while or even thought about. But I let it go. And I'll be honest, one of my weaknesses as a human being is I couldn't let the past go. I couldn't forget about it. I couldn't move on. And a lot of people in my life have been able to move on and just let it go. And, you know, for a long time I wasn't able to. And now I can, for the most part, but some things I still will always come back to when times get rough or hard, and I'll wonder what if. I think that's just human nature. You know, you lament, but you get wiser and smarter, and you don't think as stupidly as you did when you were younger. But it's different for other people. Sometimes it comes easier, and sometimes it's too late.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
And, you know, like Greg said, I just hope it's, well, not said, but has thought about for many years and just worded it differently. I hope it's not too late. And if it is, I'll just make do. Because that's life, that's the life most people live.
Yeah.
And it brings a tear to the eye, but you know, I also want to make these videos, you know, not to get off topic, but I also want to make these videos because just in case me and him do die, he or I can come back to these talks and just, or if, you know, we actually do get fans someday, they can hear our voice. They can hear some of our thoughts, you know, when we were not playing our personas or different takes that are controversial. They can just hear us straight up.
And sometimes videos like this, you know, if you're feeling bad or down, they can help you. Because I'll be honest with you, Tim, you have a lot of videos that you had that we saved, you know, from the other channel. At least some of them. That I go back and some of the things that you talk about in life in general, and there's ones that I go back and just listen to because some of the good things that you say just kind of help me out.
So, wait, you go back and you watch my old videos?
Yeah, when you talk about life and stuff, I do that quite often.
videos that have already been uploaded.
Yeah.
And you already uploaded all the Purple Haze videos and all the old videos we had from the second channel?
Yeah, the one from the the ones that were saved from the old channel, those are the ones that,
Both channels.
Yeah, both channels, yes. And it's all the different subjects that you talk about in general in life. I go back and I listen to them.
The videos that we make now.
Yep.
Well, I don't see us posting anything controversial ever again, unfortunately. I think our wild days are done. It's more PG because we get older and I don't want to make videos. And, I feel like eventually we're going to just leave YouTube altogether. Like, eventually, one day we're just not going to do it because we're like, this is kind of fucking boring. And the platform is not as friendly to creators as it used to be. A part of me just doesn't want to be on any social media, and you got to have a lot of inspiration and a lot of motivation to do this. If you don't, it's just kind of wasted energy, but that's kind of what our channel has always been, and the video has always been. Like, I just felt motivated those days to upload those types of videos. So let me ask you again. You uploaded all the old videos that we had before I started making new ones.
Yeah, the ones that were saved, yes. The ones that we could get, they've all been uploaded.
Every Purple Haze video from the last two channels that we had saved, you uploaded as much as you had?
Yes.
And you double check?
Yes, I have.
Except for that one Kaylee video, which I'm still pissed about.
Yeah, I know. I'm hoping one day we can figure that one out.
Well, remember how eager you were getting? You're like, dude, this is fucked up. You were trying all day.
I know.
You called me, you're like, dude, fuck this Rob guy. And I'm like, dude, I know. Like, I tried messaging Rob personally, and nothing came of it. He just never answered. He's like, those are my managers, not me. And I'm like, you can control them. He probably flagged the channel.
Oh, he probably did, yeah.
You know what? No, what I think he did is I think he copyrighted the video. So no matter how many times we try to upload it, it'll always be taken down instantly.
Yeah, that's actually what I was thinking, because I tried everything and it would not work. So you're right. I think he copyrighted it somehow.
It wouldn't surprise me. It literally just wouldn't surprise me. I caught up on some old animes. I was thinking about like Nagatoro. I don't know. I just don't really follow anime like I used to. When you get to a certain age, sometimes you just don't care. Maybe it's just because of my current situation where I'm just like, you know what? Maybe it's just not for me anymore. Maybe I'm just past video games and all the childish stuff that I liked.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just not for me anymore, but I'm not sure yet. I wanted to get to a better part of my life to see. And if it's too late, then, that just is what it is.
Right.
Oh, fuck, man, I'm tired. I slept a little bit more last night. I just can't wait for it to get warm and sunny and be out more, or I don't know, hell, maybe even sleep more. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I know. I hate this time of year right now because this is where the winter and spring, and all the temperatures are all crazy and everything.
Yeah, you ain't shit.
It's like today, we're supposed to get sunny, then tomorrow we get snow in the morning, then Friday we get some sort of rain and storms near 65 degrees, then it drops back down again. It's like, it's just weird.
Personally, I think whoever runs the forecast is a fucking moron. Because they keep saying it's going to be one way or the other, but it seems like they can't make up their fucking mind with what the weather is supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, I don't really listen to the forecast or watch the news because none of it can be trusted. I don't trust it. I just live the weather just by what comes.
Yeah, that's what I do. Whatever happens, happens. Because it changes all the time.
Yeah, it just is what it is, bro.
Right.
Surprisingly, we were able to do this podcast for quite a while without any interruptions. I'm actually kind of happy.
Yeah.
And for anyone that's wondering, I'm doing this podcast out in the boonies. Usually me and him would lose signal by now, but not too bad. So how about before that happens, we just call it for a break today until next episode, and I'll personally call you later. And thanks for watching another episode of the Reality Duo. I'm Tim.
And I'm Greg.
And we're the Reality Duo. I hope you guys have a good day. I will call you later, Greg, and I'm going to head out.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, peace, brother. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.